Candle Range Theory Trader with you for a video on the daily Candle Range Theory reference guide. I'm going to be covering entries, times, and some AI analysis at the end. So let's get into it. Some of these are just personal notes for myself, so I'm going to skip over this or that one that I just showed. And as well, I had a table of all of the entries for this week and their times. If you want to pause to read that, you can, and some of the signals, but you're going to see this on the actual chart too. So those are all the pairs that I picked out and decided to do, but let's get into it. So for this week, daily candle range theory. So here we go. The first one was Euro New Zealand, was a bearish setup or short. Tuesday had the candle 3, Wednesday had a candle 4. So here is the chart. This is, of course, Monday, Tuesday, candle 3, Wednesday, candle 4. Okay, so let's look at these two candles on the 5-minute chart. Okay, so first we're going to look at candle 3, this red candle right here on the 5-minute chart. So what I like to see for entries is a sweep, which is noted by this blue line here using the mark levels indicator. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, you'll need to go to the playlist called, well, actually the video that's called CRT Price Action Deep Study. That's under the playlist of Deep Studies. That will show you how to set up your mark levels indicator for this. Okay, I'm not going to go over it in detail here. So look at that video, and then the indicator on this video will make more sense. And then just basic fair value gap. So the first entry would have been at 2150 or 9:50 p.m. Eastern. Entry number 2 right here. These are all 1-to-1, 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit. Next entry was at 11 p.m. The next one could have been at 1:45, and the last one 3:05 a.m. I like to be done by London. This is a perfect scenario where not a lot of drop, just straight trend after this sweep. I love seeing sweeps. If I can get a sweep of a swing in my favor with a bearish direction, I love to see that. And then you just scalp the move down. So that's that. So this was candle 3. And also as well, keep in mind, it's above the red line, which is the middle of the CRT. This is the middle of candle 1. So I'll try to put all the entries above this line. Okay, above this red line here. Okay, that's candle 1 high, candle 1 low in the middle. So I want all my entries above, okay, the middle. For at least for candle 3. Candle 4 is a little different. Okay, but those are that 4 entries for that one. Would have been good. And then candle 4 can be a little tricky. This one was actually a New York session trade. You could have got some price action to the downside here, but I just decided on this one, which was a entry at 10:10 a.m. after the high of the day was formed, and then went down to the low. So could have entered off of a fair value gap on this one. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Or also entry number 2 came at 1:45 p.m., which is normally past my trading time, but it did pan out here, where you had a sweep and a fair value gap and equal highs. So that was a great confluence of signals to say, hey, this could be a safe trade to go short in line with the bias. Okay, so that was that. Then next up was pound dollar. Tuesday had a candle 3, and it was a breakout of candle 1. So whenever you're thinking you could get a breakout here, you got candle 1 here, and then this one. This is Monday's candle, so it just gapped. See how candle 1 on Friday closed here, and it opened all the way down here. So this is a huge gap, and then it just went straight up. So I'm not trading this day. This was candle 2, right? And then here's the trading candle right here, candle 3. Okay, so this is Tuesday, candle 3. The rest of the week is just pretty much consolidated. So this is Tuesday's price action. Candle 1, the entry was at 23.10. It had a sweep, which was noted by this blue line, and also a fair value gap. So that was good. Those two confluences worked together. Next entry at 2:40 a.m. London session had equal lows, a fair value gap. Those two things did work together to give you some good price action to the upside. And then the last one at 5:45 had a sweep, equal lows, and a fair value gap. So all three of those things all together. Those things work together to just show you, hey, look, there's strong support here. So the odds of that trade working out are good. So you could have 1, 2, 3 trades there work out. That was great. So 3 opportunities to take it long before it started consolidating at the end. So last decent trade at 5:45. But this is all above the candle range high. Remember, it was a breakout. So like I said, up here. So you just trade the best you can and get what you can get. So Euro CAD and Pound CAD had similar price action, so only did 1. Thursday had the candle 4 short, and candle 3 was best to just let it play out, and I'll show you why in a second. So candle 3, I would not have traded it because candle 2 closed slightly above candle 1. So this is candle 1, candle 2. So when you have something that doesn't quite break out of candle one's range, you can wait to see if a possible candle three does develop. And the high of candle two has the hold. So the only decent trading day here would have been Thursday here, right here, this candle four. All right. So let's take a look and see if let me make sure this is Thursday though. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Thursday, and then here's Friday here. So yeah, this candle four right here on Thursday would have been the ideal trading day. Okay, after this candle three closed inside the range. That's what tells you okay, you can go ahead and look for a continuation for candle four. So again, one, two, three, candle four. So this was the candle four again. You know what we like to see, the sweeps. So the sweep occurred right here at 11:05. As soon as the blue line appears, I'm in. I don't need much confluence after that for a sweep at least. The other ones, play it by ear. But that was at 11:05. Next entry was at 11. I'm sorry, at 2:10 a.m. You had equal highs and a sweep, and you also had some fair value gaps here to lend to some resistance. So that was good. Then you had equal highs right here. And of course, this fair value gap here, but mainly these equal highs right here at 7:15 a.m. A little bit below the middle of the candle one range, but it worked out and price broke out the range. So that was at 7:15, right? So before New York. But again, I try to get my entries in, at this time frame here. That's my ideal. So let's keep going. So three entries there, 1-to-1, 1 to 20, stop loss and take profit. All right. So there you go. Pound Aussie had Tuesday and Wednesday for trading opportunities. For a short, candle 3 and 4 split over 2 days. And candle 3 also faked a long candle 2. So G New Zealand had similar price action. So two opportunities on Pound Aussie and Pound New Zealand. We're going to take a look at Pound Aussie. So this is candle 1, candle 2 on, what is that, Monday, right? This is Monday. This big red candle is Monday. So I know this was tricky because it was a gap. Friday closed here, Monday opened here, and then it spent the rest of the day going down. So the main reason this is a candle two is because it makes the high of the week and it closes inside the range. Candle three, what I thought would have been candle three was just consolidation. The best trade would have been Wednesday on for this week for a candle four. Right now, some people could have read this as a possible long because price wicked the prior day low and closed inside of it. But the real play was playing off this high of the week and then just looking for moves to the downside. So let's take a look at this candle four because this consolidation really isn't worth looking at. So let's go. So here's candle four, 5-minute chart. First entry could have been between 11 p.m. Sorry, it's over here. 11 p.m. to midnight. You had a whole hour. You had an hour consolidation between the fair value gap and the equal highs. No sweeps here. Sweeps are my favorite, but it's just not here. So you can't make a play off this fair value gap. That would have been good for 2020. It's above the line as well. And then momentum just picked up. More equal highs right here in fair value gaps. So another play could have been made right here. I don't overthink my entries. If I see it, I'm in. All right, in line with my bias. I'll go ahead and hop on in. I'm expecting straight drop. This is what I look for with candle threes and candle fours. And then entry three, it finally did have a sweep. So I love it. Okay, it had a sweep and it had equal highs, right? So those two things working together. I did something a little different. I did a 1-to-3. I didn't take this trade though, but I'm saying this is would have been possible. My 1-to-3s though would be like a 15 pip stop loss, a 45 pip take profit. Remember, risk can be dynamic. You can do 1-to-1s. You can do whatever you want. You can make this be a 1-to-3. It doesn't matter. Just do what fits you. But yeah, so that was it. 3 opportunities for that. This last one came. I don't think I put a time on this one. I didn't. I'm sorry I missed that. For 2 or 3. I hate I missed that. But let's keep going. So the next one was UJ short on Tuesday. Candle 3, candle 1, candle 2, and then candle 3 right here. So just making a play off the high of the week. Straight drop. The rest of the week, I'm not going to go over this candle because while we look for a candle 3 and then a candle 4 continuation, it retraced and then dropped again. That's just, it did what it did because I read this as a long, especially since it swept this low. It opened, it went up, and then it just straight tanked on Friday. So I didn't take this trade, but we're just going to go over this candle 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep it simple. So we're going to focus on Tuesday. So let's look at Tuesday's candle 3. So candle 3, First trade was at 2010 or 8:10 p.m. You had a fair value gap and equal highs right here. So that was good enough. Next up at entry 2 at 22:25, which was 10:25 p.m. Eastern. You had those sweeps with the noted by the blue line. Okay, love seeing that, and a fair value gap. So just confirmation of resistance at that point. Okay, hoping that it holds. As soon as the sweep appears, I'm in. You got two chances, one right here and then another sweep right here. So you had a double sweep. Love seeing that. And then momentum to the downside. So once you get a sweep, you're expecting straight drop, right? So the last entry right here, I did not note the time at this once again. I don't know. I must have been in a rush for this last one, at least right here. But it looks to, yeah, it's at the same level. So you had two chances though to get in because it swept here and then swept here. So, but this candle right here, and again, another straight drop. And that one you could have did a 1 to 3 if you'd like. Up to you again. It's your business. You run it as you see fit. If you want to do 1 to 1s, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, it's up to you. Okay, but that was it. But this could have been good for a 15 pip stop loss, 45 pip take profit. Gone third entry right here after the sweep, above the middle of candle range 1. All right, so GJ had a classic midweek reversal short. Tuesday and Friday had candles 3 and 4 respectively. So you got, see here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday gave the high of the week, Thursday and Friday. I'm going to focus on Friday, candle 3. Where's this? Let me see, hold on. Yeah, Friday, candle 3, because this one, or Friday, candle 4 right here, because this one here didn't do too much. So I think that's how I did it. First entry would have been at 2:15. No, this might be candle 3. I apologize. This is at 2:15 though. You had a sweep right here, and you also had some fair value gaps from off screen. But those things can work in tandem. But really, the sweep is all I need. Okay, I see a sweep, I'm in. So that would have been good. And then you had another sweep right here at 10 a.m. And I did take this trade in real life, so I was out in 15 minutes on that. I'm sorry, 30 minutes on that one. That was just straight drop after this sweep. It was great to see. So it just targeted the equal lows that were down here, just dropped like a rock. So it was a beautiful thing. So that could have been a 1 to 3, 15 pip stop loss, 45 pip take profit on that one. So there you go. That's that. Now let's keep going. I think this is the last one. Aussie New Zealand long. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday for candle 3 and 4. This one was textbook. And as well, candle 3 had a sweep to the low on the daily chart. So I included a couple extra candles just so you can see that, because on the daily, the market level indicators, it'll show you what sweeps where. So a sweep, remember, is just a sweep of a prior swing low. So you have the low, lower low, higher low right here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then this candle 2 sweeps this. So everybody who went long here and here and here and here, they're all stopped out. Bang. Okay, but this is candle 1, candle 2, and then you see the strong momentum. So that's why I love sweeps so much. Do all the sweeps work? No, I'm not trying to say this is 100%. It's just that I like when you see it in confluence with other things. If a candle 2 can make a sweep to the low on the daily chart and it sweeps out a prior swing low, hey, you might be in for some strong price moves. Okay, nothing's guaranteed though, but let's take a look at candles 3 and 4. So this is candle 3. Again, I just played with the risk reward again. So this was a 1 to 3, 45 pip stop loss, 45 pip take profit, 15 pip stop loss. So that one would have been at 9:05 p.m. Okay, you could have did that, or just did a 1 to 1 or a 1 to 2. It's up to you. You could have did a 1 to 1 right here at 1:30 a.m. Either way, off these equal lows and a fair value gap, and also a swing. So those were 3 confluences that came together. So that was a good entry signal. And then lastly, had equal lows right here and a fair value gap at 7 a.m. So that right there, anticipating the breakout to the upside. But this one I did a 15 pip stop loss, 15 pip take profit, because it is above the middle of the range. So those I try to be a little more careful on, because there's no guarantee the price is going to break out of the range high. But in this case, it did. And then candle 4, you could have did one entry at, what is that, between 8 and 9:30. It had a sweep right there, and also had all these fair value gaps. So that right there is just like screaming at you that price wants to go up. It's got tons of momentum and a sweep. So after that sweep, it was just off to the races. So again, this was a 15 pip stop loss, 45 pip take profit. And this one here was a 1 to 1. Another entry at 2:40 a.m. around these equal lows. So if you have equal lows in the past in the fair value gap and price retraces to it, to that general zone, you can get in and see what happens. So that's why that's there. So After I did all that, those are the trades for the week. I wanted to feed this presentation into Google Gemini and get some AI analysis. So, based on this 1 week of data, I said, okay, what are the best days to trade? All right. So, Monday obviously was not. That's pretty generally an accumulation day. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were high probability days, and Friday, not so much. So, that was it for that. Best times to trade were the Asia London transition. I'm not going to read all this, but if you want to just peruse that, you can. But in terms of times to trade this method, between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., a lot of high probability setups occur between 11 and 3 a.m. for Euro New Zealand, pound dollar, and Euro CAD. I forgot that some of the times I miss. I hate that. But it says here that window frequently captured the initial sweep. And again, how I did this, so if you want to do it on yourself, like I said, I just fed all this presentation you're looking at. I just gave it to Google Gemini and I said, read this, and I'm going to ask you some questions and give me your analysis. So that's what I did. Second best time to trade was New York session between 7 and 10 a.m. for pairs like Euro CAD, Euro Dollar, Aussie New Zealand. So that was in there, and then also USD related pairs as well. And lastly, lowest probability odds were between 8 to 10 p.m. Typically, that's for Aussie, New Zealand, or yen. So, sometimes the timings can correspond with the pair that you're trading. So, that's that. So, in terms of the windows, it did recommend a deadline of 4:55 p.m. That if price hasn't closed back inside the range, then don't worry about trying to take it. The money candle confirmation, which I call candle 2, or also the candle that creates the higher low of the day on the 5-minute chart. And also no pending orders. It talks about that. I don't use pending orders, but either way, I enter all my entries at market. What are the best entry signals? According to everything, the charts that I put up here, it said the sweeps, without a doubt, were the most frequent and emphasized. Okay, so they were more rare, but when they happen, the probability can be fairly high. So that's that. It's just, and you can see why it works in the best case scenario. Next is fair value gaps, which is a momentum. I read that as momentum. So, it just is what it is. And then the last one are equal highs and equal lows, which also can act as price targets as well. So sometimes when you're short, if you see equal lows, price can attack those. And if you're long and if you see prior equal highs, price can be driven to those as well. So that's that. So I wanted to get everything in one chart. So I was saying, okay, what are the best entry signals? Just put them in a table for me. So it said if you do a sweep and a fair value gap, that's a high probability trigger. Just the sweep only can be medium to high probability. Simply a fair value gap is like medium because I've taken plenty of fair value gaps. I promise they don't all hold. And then equal highs and lows, they said, was the last one. So when you put all these things together, though, that's some of the highest conviction signals you're going to get. If you see a sweep, a fair value gap, and equal highs and lows, that's like ton of support or ton of resistance at that price level. So let's see, was that it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was it. So the last thing I'll do is I'll take a look at what could be forming for next week. So even though Monday is a low probability day, that doesn't mean there are no trades whatsoever. So I'm just going to show you how I would, just the pairs I marked out. I don't want to make this too long. So let's just go to here. I thought I had them marked out, but I guess not. I'll mark them now. So let's go through this. So today is Friday. It's 2:40. I think price is pretty much done all it's going to do for the most part. So let's start real quick at euro dollar. Right. So I'm going to mark out my possible candle ones. So here and here, because when I trade the daily chart, I want to see a high of the week. But if you're going into Monday, you want price to create the prior high or low of the week on Friday. That's how I trade. Okay. If you got to trade Monday, it should be off the prior high of the week or low of the week. So that's all I'm looking for here. So I got a sweep here. Okay. A sweep at that level, then price is starting to close inside of it. So on Monday, I would expect price to move to the downside. Doesn't mean it will, but that's what I'd be looking for. So as I go through this now, Here's a low of the week, but I don't see anything that's, it doesn't look like it's going to close back inside that. Maybe it will. I can check it later, but for now, I just don't see that. Don't see anything there really. Here's a low of the week. It may close back inside this range, so I'll keep an eye on it. So we'll mark that one for long. Pound, same deal. You got a couple sweeps on that one. This one could make a big move to the downside, but we'll see. We don't know. But I'm basing it off again the high. Let me make this bigger. The high of the week. And remember what I said about a daily sweep? That blue line there. Okay, this price action swept above this high and now it's closing back inside of it. So come Monday, I'll be looking for a straight drop. May or may not happen, but we'll see. Pound CAD. This could be shaping up to be a long. That is the low of the week, so we'll mark that. Sweeps will get first priority though in my mind. Same thing here. Low of the week. We'll mark that. Pound New Zealand. Off the low of the week there. Possibly could be long. Yen. That's sweeping both sides of this candle range. I'm not interested in that for now. This one here, I'm not a fan of seeing price sweep both sides of the range candle one, so I'm going to skip that one. It still could continue. It's just not my first choice. This one could give a candle 3 continuation to the downside. I'll keep it in mind. It wouldn't be my first choice. That's already played out. This could give, yeah, this could give candle 3 continuation to the downside. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That's already pretty much played out. I actually took this trade earlier because this is candle 2 right here, but candle 3, a strong move to the downside, really just never came. So I'm not interested in that. This could be a, I really like this one. Again, you see sweeps to the, you have a sweep here, and then, just price is, that sweep is still holding. So this price can hold short, then, hey, might be in for a good time come Monday. So I'll mark that for a short. We have another short opportunity here. Another sweep as well. So we'll mark that one. Not interested in that. Not really interested in that. Nope. Nope. No. Yeah, we got a sweep here. This one could give some good downside movement. So we'll do that. Not interested in that. This is actually candle 3 that's already playing out. And this one could be going to the downside, but not my first choice, especially after that sweep. So, I mean, technically it could be considered a possible move to the downside if this closes inside of this candle 1 like this. Like that. But I'm not interested in it for right now. So I got better options, so I'm just not interested in it. So these are all the pairs that I'll be watching for next week right there. So maybe I'll do an update video, maybe I won't on Monday concerning what happens with these pairs. But for now, that is my watch list. But that's the whole thing. So hope you got something out of that. Appreciate your time and attention. Thanks for watching and take care.